Welcome back to this special edition of Hannity. Now, last night you saw part one of our own Sarah Carter's interview with a human smuggler, a trafficker in Central America. Here's part two of her Hannity exclusive investigation.
We are seeing a large increase in the United States of unaccompanied minors, children that have no guardians. Is that part of, I guess, the trafficking organization's plans because it's easier to move those children, or it's more money?
Yeah, it's all part of that.
What about people that want to buy a child because they're a sexual predator?
I've heard that some people in places have very specific things that they like, certain nationalities or certain age groups. So the cartels are looking for the people going around, and when they spot someone with those characteristics, they tend to take them. In many cases, they just have the children there and they have a purpose. Only they know what purpose they're gonna serve. But yeah, they are just gonna keep them there and they're not gonna be free ever again.
When they keep the children, they could use them for anything, for drugs or for sex or, the kids could be abused, right, on the road.
In most cases, they wanted to sell their organs, so that is the reason they take children.
That's very hard to hear.
Yes, it's very hard. Sometimes they take out the organs and they refill the body with drugs so they can take it through the border.
Do they sell them to hospitals or to buyers, like private buyers, wealthy buyers?
There are people with money that want to buy the organs of kids, and it's not only for a country. They take it to different countries, and normally they do this with clinics that are not authorized.
This is worth a lot of money.
Obviously, it's more lucrative for them to just get the child and gain money from each organ they sell. So they're obviously looking for opportunities to gain more money out of it. They just care about the money.
Wow. Sarah joins us now along with co-host of the Clay Travis and Buck Sexton show, Buck Sexton. Sarah, I was prepared to hear drugs. I was prepared, tragically, to hear sex trafficking because we know that happens. But organs, I mean, this is an international business of selling children.
It's gut-wrenching. It's the horror I can't even begin to explain. I wasn't expecting to hear it either, although I've heard stories, Pete, about this often. You know, I know that the Mexican government was actually investigating a cartel in 2014 for harvesting organs from young children. And the reason I did this, the reason I wanted everyone to hear this, is because I want the American people to understand what kind of monsters these people are and what they are willing to do to children and what the Biden administration is doing by perpetuating this border chaos. You know, when we think of the border, we're thinking of people coming into our country, of course, illegal migrants, illegal immigrants, but we're expecting over 169,000 plus unaccompanied minors this fiscal year in the United States. And I wanted people to understand how gruesome and how horrific this journey is for these children. And if any of us have any compassion at all, we will listen to that and we'll find a way to put a stop to it. And the first thing is by putting a stop and closing up that border.
It's gut-wrenching. Buck, when you send the wide-open signal, you send the wide-open signal to criminals, and the depth of depravity is shocking. Yet this administration has spun this as a humanitarian way to allow people to enter our country.
Well, what Sarah's reporting shows everybody, and honestly, anyone who's been paying attention to the border sees this, and it's been the case for the entirety of the Biden administration. Their approach to the border is unethical, it's immoral, and it's also deeply cynical as a matter of politics. They could try to change the incentive structure for illegal crossings. They could try to limit the lawlessness as best they can, give additional Border Patrol resources. I speak to Border Patrol regularly about what's going on down there. I've been down there numerous times to see for myself what it's like when you have these Border Patrol agents who are doing essentially humanitarian instead of any other mission. So then they're taken off the line.
Yeah.
And what you have is the highest level of drug overdoses in U.S. history last year with fentanyl flooding across the border. The cartels making billions and billions of dollars, MS-13 and other transnational gangs treating our southern border like a wide open highway, the trafficking of human beings, as Sarah just discussed. This is all appalling, and the Biden administration has gotten rid of, as of a couple of weeks ago, the Remain in Mexico policy. They tried to end all interior enforcement. They've basically done that anyway, because, Pete, fundamentally, they don't want the situation to change when it comes to illegal crossings, and as a result of that, this just continues. This should be the biggest national security emergency the United States faces. Not, in fact, Ukraine. I know that may be shocking to a lot of people who think that sending billions of dollars over there is more important than dealing with our own national security issues here. But this needs attention right away. But the Biden administration does not want to change its ways.
Millions of illegals that we know of because they go ahead, Sarah, please.
No, I agree. I agree with Buck on this. And this administration has literally relegated our national security to luck. This border is wide open. We've had over 800,000. Think about it. Since Biden has come into office, known gotaways in this country, people we don't even know who they are. And we're hearing straight from the human smugglers, the people that are moving people up through the line. Once they hit the cartels in Mexico, these cartels are amassing hundreds of billions of dollars off of children, off of the death of our own children in narcotics, off of organ harvesting, off of child predators. I mean, there could be nothing more depraved or worse than what we are seeing. We are literally in a war in our own hemisphere,
yes.
And no one is paying attention to this.
In a war with cartels, Buck, real quick, do the cartels fear anybody?
No, certainly not. I think the cartels are in a stronger position right now than they've been in many years, certainly financially, but also you have to assume politically because of the way the Mexican regime is refusing to clamp down on this activity. And just think about this. They're poisoning Americans to the tune of over 100,000 a year all across the country. So when people talk about how illegal immigration makes every state a border state, the cartels are also in every state and every city, and they are poisoning our neighbors, our children. And the Biden administration is doing what about it? That's what we should all ask. As long as the illegal flow continues,
right.
By the way, that avalanche, this will not stop.
No, it won't. 800,000 total gotaways, 50,000 a month. The ones that are able to avoid detection likely assisted by those cartels, which means their presence likely even more nefarious. Sarah, thanks for the report last night. As difficult as it was to watch and tonight, you're doing the hard work. Thank you, Sarah. Carter, Buck Sexton.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.